Hello everyone, if you don't know who I am, well then you could call me Ari, and today I am once again talking about comics, and the comic that I am talking about today is Psychic Gambler Betting Man, written by Doldum and illustrated by Yang. I am not saying that last name because I'm afraid of butchering it, because I know that I am, and it is an ongoing South Korean webcomic currently being published by Lin His Comic. This is a story about Jin Go, a young man who while he was in high school was gifted the power of X-ray vision. He doesn't know how he got them or why he has them, all he knows is that he can now see through anything that's 5 millimeters away. And at first, he just uses these powers just to dick around, and that leads him to dating a very attractive young woman named Nae Young. But Nae Young ends up breaking up with him because she doesn't date poor people, and this breakup gives Jin the spark to use his powers to gamble and become rich so that he can get Nae Young back. Years later, Jin's life is in danger. He ends up getting cheated out of all of his money while gambling, money that he really should have lost because he ended up borrowing that money from a loan shark, and now he has no way to pay him back, and his deadline is then. The loan shark ends up threatening Jin's life by saying that he is going to kill him and sell his organs on the black market, but Jin ends up striking a bargain with the loan shark. Jin promises that in the span of 3 months he will win about $400 million, and he sets out to do that by borrowing another $50 million, which he quickly loses once again by being cheated. Now Jin has no money, he is very confused, and his life is on the line because he keeps getting cheated and he doesn't know how. But thankfully, he meets this 41-year-old man named Park Chain-soo, a man who is a pro gambler but also turns out to have these same psychic powers that he did, or at least he did. He ended up being cheated and he lost his powers because he has a scar on his eye. His eye is just like permanently scarred, like right down the middle like that. Park tells Jin that he is able to help him repay his loan and more. Jin, of course, having his life on the line, he agrees to help Park because the guy knows what he's doing. So Park repays Jin all of the money that he lost, and the two become partners. They also hire Jin's old friend, who I'm just gonna call No because I don't know how to pronounce his whole name. It's South Korean. I don't fucking know South Korean. Please forgive me. I am sorry. I can only do Japanese names because I watch a shit ton of anime because I am a weeb. Anyway, they hired Jin's old friend No to be their bodyguard as he was once a former bodybuilder, and the three set off to try and get Jin out of debt and to get rich in the process. But that isn't the end of the story. There is actually a romantic subplot. Jin finds Nae Young once again after several years, and it turns out that she didn't break up with him because he was poor. In fact, she had her own reasons for breaking up with him. But Jin wants her back, and it looks like the only way he can truly help her and get her back is by getting a lot of money. So that's the thing, I guess. It's really not important, and I honestly really don't care, and I'll talk about it in a minute because it's really not that good. Now, I really wanted to talk about this comic because this is under Lin His mature section, and I don't read a lot of Lin His mature comics because a lot of them have a heavy focus and emphasis on sex. And I'm alright with that. I like sex. I love sex and sexuality. I consider myself to be kind of obsessed with it to a point. Yet, when it comes to porn and hentai, with me, I watch it purely for entertainment. So with a lot of these comics in Lin His mature section with such a heavy emphasis on sex, it's really not giving me what I want because I crave substance in my entertainment, and in this case that substance being a story, and you just don't get that good mix of both. Psychic Gambler Betting Man, however, has more of a focus on the story instead of the sex, and it's just the sheer fact alone that this comic doesn't really focus on sex, that it wants to tell the story of this guy who gambles with this power and who wants to get rich. It just, that really drove me into this comic. Although, yes, in this comic, the sex can be out of the blue, and yes, as all of the mature comics, it is censored because fucking Asian countries has to censor their genitals, even in porn, which I hate. I absolutely hate censorship. I do not advocate for censorship in any way, shape, or form. So when I'm just like reading porn or watching porn and the fucking shit is censored, it's just an immediate turn off. So thank God there isn't as much sex in this comic. Even if it does come out of the blue, I still don't want to pull my hair out as much anymore because fucking, you can see the tits, but you can't see anything else. Thanks, Asia. I also call this comic a mix between the animes Kakegurui and Kaiji because in its own way, you will find a middle ground between those two stories due to it sharing similar elements. It isn't as sex heavy or focused as the anime Kakegurui. These characters do not get off on gambling, and it doesn't really want you to take the sex or the erotica of gambling as seriously, because for one, there isn't really any erotica to be found in gambling. I don't know why I said that. I am so dumb. I am sorry. And just like Kaiji, this is a gambling story, but it's nowhere as near fucked up as the anime Kaiji. It's not even that high stakes as the anime Kaiji, because Kaiji does so much shit just to save his life and get out of debt. But here it's just, hey, I'm in debt, I have to gamble to save my life. So the tone for this comic from both of these story elements are very toned down. But once again, if you have seen these animes, if you've read the mangas, if you like them, you will probably enjoy this comic because it shares those elements, although it is once again a tone down. Betting Man is so far a well-paced story, and it's clear that the writers want this story to go on for just a bit. Hell, Jin even pays off his debt before we hit the halfway point of the story, and as of the time of recording this video, I am only on chapter 31 of the current 62 because comics are fucking expensive and I don't have money. So yeah, and just because that Jin has X-ray vision doesn't mean that gambling is easy. We see multiple times from the first chapter of this comic that Jin isn't a professional. He is going against people that knows what they're doing, and just because he's able to see their hand doesn't mean that he still can't get tricked. So that's why we read this comic. We want to see how Jin is going to get out of another sticky situation. We want to see how he grows and learns from his experience as a gambler. We want to see what the people that he faced next does. We want to see how serious or how lethal that these people are, that gambling is, and if Jin will even make it out this time without any help. The characters of this comic should really thank this story because the characters are the weakest part about this comic. I like good characters, and these guys are just very average and run-of-the-mill. Jin is a guy with psychic powers. He's a guy that wants this chick. He's a guy that wants to get rich. He's a guy that wants to gamble because his life is in danger. He's just a guy, really. And there's no traits about him that really makes him stand out from your average character in another gambling story. You can keep Jin, rewrite this entire story, and it will probably be more boring if the story was more average, because Jin is just your average run-of-the-mill character. His relationship with Nae Young is very cheap, and I do not buy it at all. From these 31 chapters that I read, there is no chemistry between Jin and Nae Young. I have no idea why he loves her. I have no idea why he wants to help her. Well, I can get him helping her because she is in a troubling situation that we don't know the full story of yet. But why does he love her? Why is he trying so hard to get her back? Why does she like him? What do they see in each other? We don't know. All we know is that, hey, romantic subplot, Jin wants this chick back. It's cheap. It's so cheap. And I really wish it was written better because there's no way I'm buying it. I don't buy a relationship between two characters with no chemistry between each other, because so far all these two have done is fuck a lot. Sex doesn't make a good relationship. Please write a better romance. Thank you, writer. When it comes to Park, he's an old man. He's a bit of a pervert. He likes women, but he also has this dark past of betrayal to him, which right now I honestly couldn't care a lot about, but I'm still waiting for him to maybe betray Jin or for that past to come up. But right now, Park is just not that interesting of a character to me, because all we know about Park is that he was once a pro gambler who had the same powers as Jin, but ended up losing them. And that's it, I guess. Once again, nothing makes this guy stands out. There's no traits to him. There's no personality to him. All we know is this. Now you have your character. Once again, that's not a good way to write your characters. Please fix this. No, on the other hand, is probably my favorite character in this comic, although, once again, no personality. Because here's what we know about No. He's a bodybuilder, he loves women, and the bastard is lucky. He's a guy that gambles just to avoid suspicion because he is the bodyguard, but for some reason he walks away with a large sum of money because Lady Luck is on his side again. There's also a fourth member who is just Girl. She's a technician and she makes the fake IDs. I don't know. She's just Girl. That's all she is. Girl. So yeah, these characters are just a very big turnoff for me because I like good characters. I like well-written characters. I like characters that have chemistry in their romances. I don't like meh forgettable characters that ends up dragging down a comic for me personally because I don't remember these people and I honestly couldn't care about them at all. The art in this comic is well done, but also rather flat. The character designs for all the males are average. These are just average looking Korean guys. Park is your average 41-year-old. Jin is your average 20-something-year-old. No is your average hot bodybuilder 20-something-year-old. The best designed characters in this comic are the girls because the girls are the eye candy. The girls are what put this comic in the mature section, and the girls are also escorts, so they have to look good. Even girl character looks kind of good. She has a bit of a body on her, but she also has a real tomboy look to her. She doesn't seem like a character who thinks that her sexuality is that important, unlike the other characters in this comic who have to maintain themselves and make themselves look good because it is their job or they are very wealthy or something of the sort. The backgrounds in this comic, however, what backgrounds? You mean fucking gradients? You mean forgetful settings and set pieces? Sure, the casinos look like they match their wealth, but at the same time, where are we? I don't know. I don't remember. What does this place look like? Can you please tell me and draw an actual background, please and thank you. Thank you very much. The sex scenes in this comic are also not that exciting, and it's probably because I have seen much better. It does look like the characters are having fun, but at the same time with the way that they're drawn, I'm just not buying it because they kind of look stiff and flat and just the expressions say, yeah, we're having a good time, but it's whatever to me. The best image in this comic is the cover, because the cover is this detailed realistic drawing of Jin holding out this poker chip, his face is shadowed, and his eye is glowing from using his power. And when I first saw that, I was like, oh, this is cool. That means the art is going to be really good. And it's just kind of, it's good. The colors are nice, the lines are smooth, but it's also really whatever. And I think the artist really has to work more and find his style and his identity in order to make his art stand out more in the future when this comic is finished and when he moves on to something else, because this is just very run-of-the-mill forgettable artwork here. It is well drawn, it is nice to look at, but I'm not going to remember it ever. All in all, this is still a pretty good comic and I recommend it, but I recommend it just for the story alone. And like I said, this is one of the better comics that I have read in Lin His mature section. The art and the characters are run-of-the-mill, yes, and you may also think that the sex is as unnecessary as I do. But if you're a fan of Kaiji or Kakegurui, then you might find a middle ground here. If you're looking for a gambling story with a bit of action, you might find something here. If you just want to see how the story continues to pan out after Jin pays off his debt, then you may keep reading it. Or you can probably do what I'm consider doing and just stop at chapter 31, because you can literally just cut off this comic, end it here at chapter 31. The last panel is literally the characters walking off into the horizon, and the story just ends on a pretty satisfying note there. I mean, yeah, you don't know what happens to Jin and Nae Young, and maybe Park will betray Jin, but do you really care though? Do you really want to spend so much money on a fully priced comic that has a good story but won't really give you anything in terms of characters or sex or artwork, because seriously, you can just cut it off at chapter 31. And with that being said, I believe it is time for me to wrap up this video. So if you would like to read Psychic Gambler Betting Man, which is the worst name for this comic, then you can read it on linhiscomics.com. As always, I will have it linked in the description down below. This is a rather expensive comic, however, it is a long comic, it is fully priced, so if you are planning on reading this, then whip out your credit cards, because seriously, it's been going on for a while, and paying 3 coins an episode, that's gonna cost you a pretty penny. And as always, with the link of the comic down there, there is also a link to my Twitter where you can follow me at CallMeRENS and talk to me and socialize with me and blah blah blah, get updates on videos, whatever. You can also subscribe to this channel for more talking about comics and the upcoming talking about anime, which I am going to be recording right after this one because I am weeb trash. So hopefully you guys will watch that, or don't, whatever, your life. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. And just before I end this video, holy fuck, thank you so much, because there has just been so many of you. The subscribers for this channel has doubled in size after that Jawbreaker video. I have been getting emails every other day about new subscribers and comments, and I haven't replied to any of them yet. I am going to as soon as I upload this video. But oh my god, you are all just seriously amazing. Thank you all so much for subscribing. Thank you for the kind words. I still can't believe it. I've been freaking out over the past week about this, and I'm sorry that I haven't recorded or uploaded anything, but there's been construction going on next door, and it's been making it really loud, and just, I'm so glad that it is over. Oh my god. So yes, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please support the comment down below, along with following me and subscribing to this channel. And with that being said, my name is Ari, and until next time, have a good one.